Hey, everybody.
Hi, friends from beautiful Salt Lake City.
It's Thank God I'm Atheist,
The podcast.
I'm Frank Feldman.
And in case you didn't guess, I'm Kate Birch filling in for Dan.
And thanks for being here.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And coming up on the show today, we're going to be talking about a Utah original, something the Mormons gave us, Pioneer Day.
That's one of the nice things they gave us.
Yeah.
A holiday.
They gave us a holiday.
I like holidays.
That the rest of us celebrate often as Pie and Beer Day.
Which is the correct way to celebrate
exactly.
it.
So we're going to be talking about that and just kind of getting through it.
All right.
Oh my God. All right. But first we do have some news of the week. Some stuff to talk about. Let me see. Which one do I want to
Do you want to start?
I can start.
You start us off.
I'm going to start.
All right.
I've got a story about, this is, I don't want to have this be my soapbox, but it feels like I have a soapbox that's been forming lately. And that has to do with the way that Western countries have accommodated conservative Muslim populations moving in, right? Which is great. It's fine, right? Yeah. We should welcome people from the world into our countries. But the flip side of that is they should probably accept a lot of our values. Oh,
like we don't want to.
Yeah,
we don't want any sort of like religious super nationalism or super
exactly
hyperactivity.
So up in Canada, up in Mississauga, Ontario, a bunch of Muslim parents marched through their city center and all up in arms about LGBT messaging in schools. They were marching, carrying signs that read, "Leave kids alone," and "Parents are legally responsible for their children, not state institutions."
Wait. So are you telling me Muslims can be as like horrible as Christians?
Oh, yeah.
I never would have guessed. All the religions can be horrible.
Socially conservative religious types.
Yeah.
I don't want to paint them all with the same brush, but yes, they're all the same.
Yeah.
They all want you to accept them and to make space for them. And then once they hit certain numbers, they want to take that space away from others.
Yeah, respect me, but I don't want to respect you.
Are sort of open societies that are the hallmark of Western democracies.
Right.
Right. And especially fucking Canada. Yeah. Right? Like the most welcoming. friendly people.
Come on in, eh?
Yeah. And like take refugees in large numbers and accept these people into their country. And here you have it. There's some more of the signs say things like, "God determined my gender. Don't confuse me. Protect our children. No gender indoctrination." So they are upset about the exact same things
that people are
the
here.
Religious right in this country is freaking out about. The Christian conservative right.
Yeah, they see it as a very big threat.
And we've had similar stories like up in Hamtramck, Michigan, and we know it's called Hamtramck. The similar things that are happening, but up in just returning to this one up in Mississauga, a Muslim cleric that was related to this whole thing said in an interview that Muslims don't hate LGBT people, but the act they do. Sorry, I don't take this like we love the sinner. No.
Because also
then you don't love me.
No, because
this is what gay people do.
Well, also
is love other.
You're saying it's not about. They're not even saying that. They're saying in school we don't even want you to have the right to question your identity or it has nothing to do with sex. Acknowledging
that we exist. Right. Is too much.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you're totally right to pick that out, right? that he's speaking out of both sides of his mouth. And let's see, he emphasized that it is forbidden and meaning LGBT stuff. And he pointed out that God created man and woman, and that it's a shame to force an entire month on the public celebrating the Pride movement.
It's not forcing anybody anything.
You have to look at the rainbow.
He's trying to force his opinion.
What if you're a real big Skittles fan and you're just like, where's my rainbow?
Oh my gosh. It's such a distorted way of thinking and looking at the world.
I know.
It's so sad.
I know. Oh, and one of the things that they're demanding specifically that these national policies about the LGBT community, that they do not apply to the Muslim community. So they're wanting to carve out this exception of like, we came here to your open and welcoming society because we needed, like, we were looking for a better life. And now we want you to start like changing to and accommodating us more.
But we don't want you to accommodate to our needs. What we want is you to stop doing the things that we say you should stop doing. Yeah. It has nothing to do with them.
Right.
They're trying to stop other people.
Right.
Guess what? They don't have to wear a pride shirt. They don't have to go to a pride parade.
Yeah.
They don't have to have gay sex. They don't have to, like, whatever you are so up in arms about, don't do it.
Yeah.
It's literally easiest thing.
Yeah. Just, and it's the whole live and let live.
Yeah.
Ethos that used to be like so prevalent.
Yeah.
Like, especially like in the West, that like live and let live.
Yeah.
Right. And I think about like people used to just not care.
No.
I mean, okay, granted. Okay, I just way overstated it. But I just feel like there's this thing that's percolating up, and they obviously did care, right, the whole time. But and wished just in silence, right? That it was different. But I think they're finding each other just like we're all finding each other, right? And like they realize the power of in numbers that they
have this megaphone now that they didn't have before. Yeah. Although I don't know, you say they cared so much, but I feel like if you think about the drag situation, 5 years ago wasn't an issue. No. But when you tell somebody to make something an issue, then it becomes an issue. And I really think a lot of these things, it's not that they are deeply held beliefs. It's that somebody is whispering in their ear that it's a deeply held belief. Yeah. And they're like, oh, I didn't realize. I guess this is.
Yeah. And my dad, my 80-something-year-old dad, who grew up in the Bay Area, right? He told me at one point about like when he was younger, they would go into the city to see the drag shows. And it was something that just people did. And it didn't.
Because it's entertainment. Like any other entertainment.
Yeah. And it was, back then it was like they were driving into San Francisco. And it was like, they were probably going to some seedy corner of the city and whatnot. And it was fun and very, very counterculture. Yeah. Right. And and
but like you say,
big deal.
When you use the word counterculture, it's because it is a culture. And so it's like any other culture that you're going into, you would respect. It doesn't have to be the same as yours.
Right.
What you're enjoying about it is that you're like, oh, this is new. This is something that I don't know normally like see.
Right.
And so I get to experience your culture in this way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, but it doesn't mean that like it's, I want to say, I don't know the right way to say this, but it's not going to rub off on you, right? Yeah. Like it's not contagious, right? Well, drag is not contagious.
Well, everyone. And if you think of it like you're viewing
being gay, right?
If you're viewing somebody else's culture, I'm going to go to Japan. I'm not going to become Japanese.
Right.
I might like sushi. I might, have fun exploring things and getting to experience it. But like, none of it, you are going to be who you are.
Yeah. Yeah. Whatever. Oh my God. Okay, what you got?
Oh my God. I'm starting with my favorite story because it's so delightful. So there's a couple Christian creators who are designing AI chatbots, but with a biblical worldview. Because you know what? They're left out. And they were so excited. They want to use AI and they want to use chatbots, but like it's kind of scary if you're using the regular one because you might ask it some questions about God and you might decide that there is no God, right?
Right.
Like I think it wouldn't take very long to start having a chat with like a chatbot where you're like, oh, actually, because it's going to maybe start pointing some things out. So there's this guy who's basically a kid. He's 23. His name is Neil Gulbranson, something like that. I'm probably butchering that. But when he was a kid, he used to spend all this time like Googling stuff about like Christian scholars' views. And he was kind of obsessive, I guess, about religion and like scouring YouTube videos to try to find points that like matched his worldview.
Okay.
And satisfying answers. And so he has just come up with this Christian chat bot called Bible Mate. And it is for people who are looking for biblical answers to life's difficult questions that they want answered in a very specific way.
Right. So what did he train BibleBot on? So
it is grounded in like biblical theology that he's gotten from like sermons and books and academic articles. The funny thing about it though is that because there's so many like different denominations and like religion does not like subscribe to one idea.
Right.
So it's a little bit problematic because, you know, one of the examples that he gave was asking whether or not people should speak in tongues. And it's like, well, they'll give you an example, but they're not going to be able to answer that for you because the Bible doesn't say one thing. Right. That's the funny thing about this is there's a quote from him that says, the app is just a medium, a platform for the Bible to say what it says. The app itself is neutral in that sense, but the Bible takes clear stances on certain issues. And I was like, does it? Because no. Right. It doesn't. It says like 15 different things and you get to pick and choose which one. Right. So I don't know how this chatbot's going to be very helpful to you.
Yeah, this sounds like a disaster.
It does. It sounds like
sounds like a beautiful disaster.
It does. I kind of really want to go to it and start asking it questions just to see what it comes up with because like Christians don't believe in the same thing. They don't see eye to eye about things. They're like they actually don't believe in a lot of the stuff that their book says.
Yeah. No, I would love for sort of this biblically trained AI to just start, like, after being fed all this crap, for it to start giving answers that he's like,
oh, wait a second.
Where is this coming from?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Well, it's coming from
your sources.
The stuff that you fed into it.
One of the funny things is he started in his chatbot has a tool that's called Explain It to Me Like I'm 5. And I just feel like that's basically what Christianity is right now. It's like, I don't want to actually think about this very hard and I don't want really in-depth knowledge about it, but can you just tell it to me like I'm a 5-year-old and that's the amount of knowledge I want on the issue.
Yeah, Christianity's already 5 years old.
Yes. Make this as simple and dumbed down as possible. Yeah. And literally that's what they said. He said, you type a hard to understand theological concept in. It will dumb it down. Literally, this is a quote from this man. It will dumb it down and explain it to you the way a 5-year-old kid would understand it.
It's already dumb. It's already
dumb. You try to explain it. It's the reason those hard to understand theological concepts are hard to understand is often because they're like contradicting one another or they're like based in like you have to understand the time frame at which it took place or the place in which it took place or like any number of things. And it's like, it's just sad to me to think that they're like, let's make this easy for people to not actually understand the book that they're trying to understand. Oh, it's so funny. Oh, one more funny thing about this article that I have to say is that he was like, we've gone out of our way to make this politically neutral because Christians don't seem eye to eye. And claiming that Jesus wasn't a Democrat or a Republican or a socialist or a capitalist, he never explicitly said anything of those things. I think it's funny that they had to like explicitly exclude anything that would be, political, because we all know how Christ would fall on any of these political issues. And they're not how people who read the Bible would accept it. So anyway, I just thought that story was funny and delightful, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It made me laugh out loud numerous times.
All right. Well, turkey.
The sandwich?
Not the food. The country. This is a little bit of a warning, I think, to everybody out there who might be thinking about a lovely vacation to Turkey.
We were actually thinking of going to Turkey.
Really?
So I will gladly listen to this.
This is a definite warning.
Okay.
To not dress up and look gay.
Okay.
A Portuguese man was arrested in Turkey back in, I think it was late June.
I'm worried already about
and he was unaware that there was a nearby LGBT, like a pride parade going on, right? Which was unsanctioned. Like the parades, pride parades and whatnot in Turkey have been banned since 2017. I think this article says.
Sad.
And so he was just there as a tourist, and he looked a little gay. I suppose.
Too colorful? Like, what does it mean?
His hair was done.
Too fashion. He looked too good.
He looked too good.
He looked too put together.
He was really just like, you know a gay man when you see a gay man.
Here's the thing. Is it just that the straight men are jealous? They're like, I can't pull that off. I won't ever look that good. So we have to deny, like, we have to say you're not allowed to look good.
I don't know. But he stopped and asked police for directions, which was his first mistake, probably.
Oh, no.
And
then they were like, you look too good. We're arresting you.
Yeah. One of the officers ordered him to be arrested immediately. He was slammed against the wall of a van before throwing in the back. He sounds like he kind of resisted because he'd done nothing wrong.
Right.
After about 5 hours in the police van, one of the police officers explained that he had been detained because of his appearance, but it took about 20 days between his arrest and his being released.
What?
It was probably about a week or so, it sounds like, before he was allowed to make a phone call.
Was he traveling here with family? Was he by himself?
I think he was looking for friends at the time. He just disappeared. Oh my
God, that's terrifying.
He just disappeared, right? He was looking for directions to get some other place, right? I think, meet up with people, right?
If you're going to travel to Turkey, wear cargo pants and a really dingy t-shirt.
Yeah. And don't brush your hair.
Yeah. And
walk around.
And maybe don't think of your hygiene so much that day. Sorry, straight men. I am all the cis men out there. I apologize. I don't really think that of you, but
but it's also true. No, he was moved around a little bit. It sounds like the police, jail conditions are
awful.
He called his dad when he was finally able to make a phone call, who then called the Portuguese embassy, and they were able to help get him out.
That is terrifying.
It is not illegal to be gay in Turkey.
But it's illegal to look gay in Turkey.
Apparently, apparently members of the LGBT QIA community face discrimination constantly.
So wait.
And at the hands of the people who are there to serve and
quote
protect.
Unquote protect them.
Yeah.
Wow. That is horrendous and terrifying. And and really baffling to me, because So it was legal for them to arrest him or not illegal for them to?
They're not going to get in trouble for it. Right?
They should be sanctioned or something.
Nah, it's not going to happen.
Oh my
God. This poor guy, this is the kind of experience that would leave you shaken for a very
scarred.
long time.
Yeah, it would be really hard to travel.
And you would be very careful about wherever you went in the future. Wow. This guy isn't going back to Turkey.
No.
Ever in a million years.
And that really does make me think about it. Yeah.
Because we
really were thinking of going to Turkey.
I wouldn't.
Oh, if Dan went to Turkey, he would immediately be arrested. He wears very fun. His clothes look like they're fun.
He dresses gayer than most gay men.
He does. I think he tells a story that someone came up to him at a party and asked, "Are you gay or are you fancy?" And I think, wears that very proudly as a badge of honor.
Oh, I'm fancy.
I guess I'm fancy. Well, he would be gay if he could be. This is how you know it's not a choice. I know he would be. I know he'd be like, yeah, that's great. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yep. Okay, my story. I'm picking between my stories.
Yeah, do it.
I think I'm going to do this one. Okay, so this is a story about an atheist organization in Texas, in Fort Worth, that they were going to have an event about advocating for the separation of church and state and against white nationalism, Christian nationalism.
Okay.
And so for their event, they were going to hang these banners, I guess you know how main streets can have on their lamp posts banners that advertise the zoo or the aviary, or we have some of those in Salt Lake.
Yeah. Some upcoming festival or something.
So the city has this thing where they have free advertising spots that they offer to people to promote their organizations and their events. If they're having an event they just offer, you get to hang these banners up and you apply for it.
Right.
And as long as the event is open to the public and of common interest and held in their city, they're supposed to approve it. Okay. So this group applied for this, as they'd done in the past, to be hung on the city lampposts, and they were denied the banner. Oh. And so now they're filing a lawsuit about it because they're saying that they're being discriminated against because there's plenty of Christian pro-religious organizations that are regularly allowed to hang these banners up in Texas.
Right.
And it's funny because as you come to learn, apparently, and probably why they were denied this time, is because a few years ago in 2019, they'd had a similar event where they hung banners on the lampposts that said, they were these bright yellow banners, and they read, "In no God we trust." Delightful.
Wonderful.
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, it got, I guess, a lot of national public news and sparked all this criticism, and they got a bunch of hate mail about it, and some of the signs were vandalized. And my guess is that the city was like, oh no, we remember that we got this, bad press because of the last time, so we're going to say no this time. But they have to give equal rights to these guys than they do to the Christian
you would think so.
Organizations. Anyway, they're suing about it. They're hoping that they're going to get approval. There's still, I guess, time. I think their event was supposed to be in August, so I guess
maybe they can sneak it in.
Maybe they can get relief from a judge that quickly. I don't know how long it takes to print banners, but that might be something to look out about and see if they got to hang their banners. I hope they do something very offensive this year if they do get approval.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's what a lame world we live in.
It is a lame world.
These things we have to fight against constantly. Well, here's one from West Virginia.
I sense it's going to be a positive story.
Oh, it's so positive. It actually has it's a story with a decent ending, but it is a sad story.
Okay.
It's about an atheist prisoner in the West Virginia prison system by the name of Andrew Miller. Part of being in prison, he was supposed to be participating in a substance abuse program.
Which, that's great. I think that's wonderful to offer that.
The prison system only offers one called, let's see, the Residential Substance Abuse Treatment Program, which is a highly religious program that they've developed. And
those
he
are
refused.
Always so useful to people.
Yeah.
Because they're shame-based, and everybody knows that we react best to shame-based recovery.
Absolutely. I mean, I
so
love
sad.
Shame. It's one of my favorites.
It's very motivating.
So a federal judge has ruled in favor of Andrew Miller.
Good.
And he's issued a preliminary injunction requiring officials with the Division of Corrections and Rehabilitation to remove completion of the substance abuse program, treatment program from the prisoner's parole eligibility requirement.
Oh, good. Well, hopefully there are other programs out there.
There totally are other programs
that are already built. Just use one of those.
You do not have to have God involved in order to stop drinking or using whatever you use. This is no big deal, guys. However, this guy stood up for his rights.
Good for him.
And one thing that I believe even the judge acknowledged was that if he had not stood up for his rights and instead had followed West Virginia's the state's instructions to do this program, he would, in all likelihood, would already have been released.
Oh my God. They should just release him.
Yeah.
And they should release him and say, you still have to do the treatment.
Yeah.
Because you could be released and still be asked to do treatment. And then there'd be so many more treatment options available to him, I would imagine.
I'm sure. Yes. Yeah. Once he's out.
Yeah.
Then he can choose the one that's going to work for him. Right. This program, let's see, it's undeniably religious in nature, according to everyone involved, actually. It includes religious content in the course material. There are mandatory prayers during meetings. And there's a chapter in the booklet that they use that tells atheists and agnostics they are doomed to an alcoholic death unless they seek him.
That is disgusting.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And so he refused.
Of course he did.
And
it's heartbreaking to think of all the other people that are going through this, even if they're not full on, they don't have to be totally atheist, but if you weren't fully a believer, you'd read that and you'd be like, oh.
Somebody who had experienced religious trauma.
Yeah.
Right. Who maybe could still be a believer. Right. Yeah. But who's just I can't, I don't want to deal with that. That's not good for me. No. Whatever it is. Right. They should have some options. Well, also not even just options, but that's going to be a worse way. You're not going to rehabilitate people as well as if you just had a scientific method. Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's heartbreaking. And so, but this guy, I don't know what he did. I don't know what he did to land in prison. Yeah, right? It's probably something drug related. Who knows? I have no idea. If you have a rehabilitation as part of your parole, doesn't it seem like it's probably something drug related? It would make sense. I don't know. But it could have been any number of things, and it was an exacerbating factor. Yeah, played a role somehow, whatever it was. Yeah. But this guy, he stood up for what's right. Yeah. He has really at the cost of his own freedom. Yeah, that's amazing. Stood up and made the situation better for other prisoners who are going to be coming through that system.
Because the judge said he probably would have been out already. I wonder if his lawyers can go back and sue for like damages or something of like being like held. I wonder if there's something. I don't know how the law works, but
me neither.
I want that to be a thing.
I want them
to have to pay him for like.
There should be some justice for what
you
has
spent an
happened
extra
here.
3 months in here that you shouldn't have had to spend in here. Here's $10,000 or whatever.
My guess is the state's pretty immune.
Yeah, probably.
From stuff like that.
But I want it to be. Doesn't mean I don't want. Can't I just dictate what happens around the world? I want to be the one who makes all the choices.
I know. It would be so much easier.
I'd try to do good for y'all. I would. It's probably a good thing I'm not a dictator. We'd all have ponies.
That's a good thing.
Well, unless you don't like ponies, then it's probably not so good.
I have to take care of this stupid pony. Thanks to Kate.
I know. Yeah. Everybody's like trotting around with their cute little mini. Oh man, it'd be a cute world. I'll tell you that much.
All right.
Mini donkeys left and right. Okay, my last story is actually an interesting story. It's not long. Mm-hmm. It's about a very well-known scientist whom I'm sure you've heard of, Albert Einstein.
Oh yeah,
he's literally kind of like the only scientist that you can guarantee that everybody has heard of, right?
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, there's right now a letter that was written by him is up for sale publicly, and it's kind of like there's been other writings of his that have gone up for auction that have sold for like millions of dollars.
Oh.
And this is only valued at $125,000. You could get that.
I could get that?
Yeah, I mean, you probably have that money in your house that is appreciated now.
We can just refinance.
Just refinance and get this. But it's interesting, and I think this is a reason why you or one of your listeners might like this letter. So it was written in 1950 to a group of Jewish students in America. I think that they were probably, or I think they were Orthodox Jewish.
Oh, okay.
And it was written at the behest of the wife of a rabbi who was really well known at the time. I think he was a German rabbi who had written to him, and she just wanted to know whether or not he could still believe in Genesis in the Bible if he believed in science.
Oh.
And so I'm going to read you a really cool quote from this letter that he responded to her, saying that if he were to believe in the literal interpretation of the Bible, to see, God as a creator of the universe, he wouldn't be able to believe in Genesis, because that would, like, that creation story is disproved because we have a scientific explanation for it. So he kind of said that you could think of it metaphorically. I'll read you the quote. So it says, "The person who is more or less trained in scientific thinking is alien to the religious creation in the original sense of the cosmos, because he applies the standard of casual conditionality to everything. If, however, you interpret the Bible symbolically or metaphorically, it's not clear anymore whether God is in fact to be thought of as a person." So he's kind of saying, like, yeah, you can't look at the creation as if it was done by God. You have to look at it because we have a scientific explanation now. There's something that's taken the place of this. Yeah. You can continue to think of it metaphorically if you want to, but it kind of isn't practical to think of it, literally anymore. Yeah. We have an explanation. We don't need the creation story anymore. Right. We don't need your God. Anyway, very interesting. And I think later on, in a few years later, he wrote a really famous letter called the God Letter to a physicist. Oh, no, to a philosopher. And that ended up selling for like $3 million at Christie's. But that basically said, like, no rational person can believe in God or something along those lines. So it's interesting to see that these letters kind of pair together, almost like this happened 4 years earlier, and is probably where he's fighting with what his belief used to be in God, and he was socially, as a Jewish person, it's kind of like any religion. It's both social. You have this social pressure to believe one way, and then you've got like your reality of belief. Yeah. So I'm sure it was like he was having to fight against. Especially because it was at the time of World War II, or right after World War II, where like he'd seen people be killed for being Jewish. Yeah. Doesn't it seem like it would be hard to that would put you in a difficult predicament because you're like, I don't believe in this. Right. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Take a stand with science. Almost, I don't know if he felt this way, but I'm kind of making a conjecture that I'd be curious. I'm guessing that transition took a little bit more time, because you'd almost feel like you were not betraying your people, but it was such a huge part of the Jewish identity is, the Torah and. But to say no, science is what I believe in, I no longer believe in. So
maybe
interesting.
He was also aware of the audience.
Well, I absolutely think that's true. I absolutely think that's true.
Because and to present sort of the idea of biblical literalism versus symbolism. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Considering who he was writing to, that makes a lot of sense to me.
It absolutely
of just being like,
does.
hey guys, don't take it literally. Yeah. You can still if you want to follow this book, think of it as a metaphor. Yeah. As look for whatever beauty and whatever meaning or whatnot that you want to, or connection to your community
absolutely.
That this gives you.
Yeah.
Right. Fine, so be it. Right. But what we know about where the universe came from does not jibe at all.
Yeah, they can't coexist. They're totally separate.
And religious people still try to either shoehorn the more not the super crazies who are the world,
the Noah's Ark building.
Yeah, and the ones that believe that the planet was
7,000 years,
6,000 years old or whatnot, and that that it was actually created in 6 literal days. Right. Not those people, but the people who are more mainstream and still believing, still trying. Well, maybe a day was an epic. Right. Or how long is a day to God? Right. Because there's that too. Then there's that way of approaching it. And whatever floats your boat, I guess. Doesn't float mine. My boat just sinks in those waters.
I know. Me too. And metaphor, I don't even need that metaphor. There's better metaphors.
There are so many better metaphors. So many better. Oh, golly.
But if you want to bid on that letter, go get it for $125,000.
Yeah, I'm afraid that my money's all tied up.
Mine is too.
I don't really have that sitting around. But maybe you do, dear listener, or maybe you have some feedback for us for something that you've heard so far on the show. Please give us a call. The telephone number is 424-666-8442. Leave us a voicemail message. We'd love to hear your voice. Maybe play it on the show. Or you can write in a response. Podcast at thankgodimatheist.com is the email address. There's more show coming up, so stick around. Hey, Kate.
Yeah?
So this is the part of the show where we, usually Dan plays a little bit of audio that I have never heard before. He's sort of... And then we talk about it. Okay. So Dan's not here. So this is a little thing I found. This is a name that comes up from time to time on the show. Hank Kunneman. We've played clips featuring him before. And here he is at his church. And he's clearly preaching about America.
Okay.
Right? Because we got flags up on the stage. This is probably around 4th of July.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, we're just...
And he says it. He says what we're about to hear.
Okay.
Right? So
I'm ready.
So let's have a listen.
I want him to play our great national anthem, and then we're going to partake together. Let's all stand. Come on, we should honor God at this point. Come on, let's honor our country. Thank you, Lord. This great land, the land of the free, and the home of the brave.
Oh my God.
What was that song?
That was, you didn't recognize? That's our national anthem. Don't you know?
Was it?
I don't know.
There were moments.
Like he's heard the song once.
I think it was inspired by. I kept waiting for like Enter Sandman or like, I don't know what, something else. I wanted it to like, it was definitely not the national anthem.
It was in no way the national anthem.
Also like,
and there's like, and everybody, you have to understand, like the guitarist, he has like some stupid
American
quote
flag
unquote
shirt.
American flag shirt on.
Which is so funny.
They cut to a waving flag in the middle of the video.
I feel like this is the least patriotic thing you could ever do for our country.
Oh, yes, I agree.
It is wildly offensive.
It is offensive, and I guarantee you that the people who are in there feeling the Jesus
spirit,
they were very upset at Roseanne Barr's version of the of the national anthem. Do you remember that?
No.
Oh my God. Way back when. This is like 20, 30 years ago.
What was it?
It was at a baseball game, and they have the opening. Yeah. Somebody comes and sings. Roseanne Barr goes out and she's like, let the rockets
but she actually got probably the words were all correct and maybe followed the tune, sort of.
Yeah, but it was Roseanne Barr and she was doing it. It was
a shtick.
Yeah, but it was bad. It was bad, and it hit like a Like it was not. It was.
Was she trying
people
to
were
be
pissed
offensive?
at her.
Was she,
I think she was trying to be
okay.
offensive. Like because she like spits at the end and like and she does like a crotch grab at one point and like she. I don't know what she was on.
She's really done an about face though, right? I mean, isn't she like all kind of Christian-y now?
Oh, I don't know.
I've seen her on things that were like
really,
or maybe it was having to do with vaccinations. I don't remember. She
is
crazy town.
She is crazy.
Okay. Yeah. She's clearly.
And she's from Salt Lake City.
Oh yeah,
Did you know that?
I've heard that because like you can see her yearbook picture from like what's high school. She went to high school here. Yeah.
I don't know.
I'd heard that before.
Yeah. No.
Oh my gosh.
She doesn't claim it and she doesn't shouldn't talk about it. But yeah, she's from here.
Well, we don't need to claim her.
We do not.
I don't know who we're supposed to claim.
I don't know. She's just a weirdo.
She's a weirdo, yeah, but not the good kind of weirdo. I like a good weirdo, but not that kind.
All right. Well, we have a voicemail that I wanted to play.
Great.
This is from a listener who is responding to another voicemail that we played last week.
This is getting really meta.
I love it when this happens.
You guys keep it going.
Yeah, I love it when this happens. When they're having a conversation.
Yeah,
right?
I love it.
And it was a voicemail talking about. It was a listener suggesting that women dressing up basically in drag, but as women, right? Okay, so it's not. Yeah. But like as drag queens, right? And that would how much would that confuse the Christians who are opposing like drag queen story hours?
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
So this is another listener's response to that.
Hey, this is Robin. I'm a newish listener to Thank God I'm Atheist, but I listened to the How to Herrick for a very long time. One of your other listeners called in to say that for Drag Queen Story Hour, we should have a cis woman as a drag queen. This is already a thing. Sometimes they're called bio queens. I personally don't like that term as much, but that is one of the denotations. It is more usual for women to be drag kings, where they're dressing up as a guy. But nope, bio queens are totally a thing, because part of drag is the hyper performance of whichever gender, and anyone can do that hyper performance, though it is more of a transformation if your starting point is further from the gender that you're mimicking. So nope, totally a thing. I have seen them several times, and one of the cool things is that, you know, it's the kind of thing we find out like maybe later, oh yeah, that was a bio queen. And very cool, very fun. They do a lot of interesting stuff. Thanks.
Interesting.
Yeah. Like
I kind of want to do it.
You want to do it?
I feel honestly like dressing up in drag would be more weird for me than it would be for Dan. He is dressed in drag way more than me. And I feel like I've never worn makeup like that. I've never worn a wig. Yeah. I don't wear heels. Right. None of that. It would all feel so out of my comfort normal zone that I feel like it would be totally fulfilling the gestalt of drag, you know?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
And that is the point. It is a performance. Mm-hmm. It is not I don't know exactly what I'm trying to, but
I love the idea of it to get back at people too, though. Like I like to get back at the Republicans,
just to confuse them.
them, because clearly it's nothing like it. There is nothing at issue. You know,
it's a costume.
It's a costume.
It's a performance. Yeah. It is not any of the things that they're trying to turn it into to be afraid of and to try to malign the gay community or the the trans community or anything that they're trying to like attach drag to. It's a tradition of performance that goes back a very long time, right? Like people have been dressing up in similar fashions for like one of Brigham Young's sons.
Oh yeah, I know. I've seen that. They make like a vodka or something.
Miss.
I can't remember.
It's named after his persona, right?
And they were like cherished, right? Like all the Mormons like loved that. What was it? They weren't trans. They were just. It was just drag.
It was just drag. It was just a show, right? And they didn't. It was a different. The history of it, I'm not fully up on, but they were doing something different from what like modern drag is.
Well, right.
But it was still about this performance. And I mean, you see his costume, he was dressing up as a woman.
I mean,
right?
obviously,
and
it's
then
going to be
doing a show.
Yeah,
right.
It's going to be different than modern drag because we didn't have the same makeup. We didn't have the same clothing. We didn't have none. You know, it has to be contextually
society's understanding of like what homosexuality was, or that homosexuality was even tied. It wasn't tied to this to drag
dressing.
At that point, right?
Yeah,
or whatever you would have called it,
right?
But like this idea of people getting dressed up and doing these big performances, this is old. This is not something new.
Right.
And it's not something specifically that's
was Shakespeare.
Gay, right? Well, right. Women weren't allowed, so they had to act, so they had no other choice.
Yeah.
But isn't that great?
But I do vote that we change the name. From not the bio queen. That doesn't seem
feel quite
so
right.
I think somebody come up with something better than that.
Yeah. We probably shouldn't
maybe
suggest
just
anything.
queen.
A queen?
I don't know. That's what I came up with.
Or something drag so that it's understood that it's this it's this gender performance.
Right. This is not my normal persona.
Yeah.
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 This is this elevated persona. That's different. You're becoming something other.
Well, and it's not anything that is typically or readily seen in normal society.
Right.
Right? Like this is not this
it's exaggerated.
It's totally exaggerated.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
all right.
Anyway, isn't that fun?
It's so fun.
And this is the point on the show where we like to thank our supporters, our donors, the people who support us on Patreon or PayPal. If you'd like to join them, please do. We love the support. Go to our website, thankgodimatheist.com, and click on the support tab, and it shows you the options. They're all there. And as always, we have our top donor to thank, our Lord and Savior.
I'll do a drum roll.
Neves. All right, stick around. There's more show coming up. So, Kate.
Yes.
It is time. It's the time of the year.
It's the holiday of holidays.
It's the holiday season here in Utah. No, it's Pioneer Day.
I know.
That's coming up. Like when the show actually drops, it will be the day after Pioneer Day.
We will be sated.
July 24th every year.
Yes. We just can count on it as our own little personal holiday.
We celebrate the arrival of the Mormon pioneers in the Salt Lake Valley.
I know. I'm guessing a lot of places have like a Pioneer Day-ish thing, like some celebration of like when their place was founded. Is this a thing that most states have? Or
I don't think a lot of states have like a state holiday. Like things close down like it's any other holiday. For Pioneer Day.
But most states don't have their own
holiday. And people
have
the day off, right?
You guys tell us, does your state have a holiday?
assume that there are some other states that do.
Yeah.
But
do they have fireworks?
I don't know. I don't know. Fireworks shows that like rival the 4th of July.
Yeah. Right. More so.
Yeah.
Like I know there's supposed to be one tonight, a drone show.
There is supposed to be a drone show.
I'm kind of contemplating.
It could be fun.
Some of those drone shows are pretty cool, but I'm guessing we're not that.
They need some like concussive system to make booming noises.
Yes, they do. That's my favorite part.
That's what it's missing.
It's what I agree with you. It's just
oh, look, a square. Oh, look. Oh, it's the flag and it's kind of waving. Right?
Yeah.
Like, whatever.
Yeah, I know.
It's
Take
not
it or
thrilling.
Yeah.
I
am the same way.
But we do need to move away from fireworks.
We do. But if we had those big booms, we'd still be we'd be doing all the bad things.
All the bad things. It causes a spike in air pollution. People with asthma have a hard time afterward. Dogs are
terrified.
Just traumatized.
I know.
Although my little dog, he just kind of looks.
My dog doesn't care at all. She's like, meh.
Yeah.
She's like, if they come for us, I will fight them off.
Yeah.
She's like, I'll take them down.
Yeah. But Pioneer, are you doing anything special? What's your Pioneer Day tradition?
I don't have one. I think it's because I've never connected to this holiday even remotely.
Yeah.
Because growing up in Utah, especially when
because you grew up non-Mormon.
I grew up non-Mormon and had zero Pioneer heritage.
Right.
So it seemed like it was somebody else's holiday. It didn't seem like it belonged to me. Yes, I could appreciate that I got the day off or whatever, but it was people take so much ownership of their Pioneer heritage here. It's they wear it like a badge of honor.
Yeah.
And it's basically they think they did it. It's the equivalent of them. They had the hand carts. They had the wagons. Uh-huh. If it was your great whoever, it's the same as you doing it.
Well, it makes them special.
It makes them special.
They're so special, and they are more rightly Utahn than you are.
That's
they
what I
own
always
this place
felt.
far more than you do. Mm-hmm. You are the interloper,
and it wouldn't be here. I wouldn't even be here if it weren't for them. So I should really thank them.
I mean, I wouldn't be here if not for the Mormons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I probably might be because something else would probably have been here.
Yeah.
This place would have been settled by somebody.
Yeah, but it would be Elko, Nevada.
Oh, no, it wouldn't. No, it would have been better. It would have been better than
Evanston.
that.
It would have been like Evanston.
No, it wouldn't. It's beautiful here. It's a prettier place.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you're correct. It's a beautiful place, but I'm saying sort of it would have been a small community.
Maybe.
I don't think you would have had Salt Lake City here.
I don't know because
with a metropolis thing going on. You would have had settlements and places.
You don't think this would have naturally formed into a city? I
don't think it would have been.
Disagree.
No,
I disagree.
I disagree with you.
I disagree.
I think that you would have had a stop off on the Transcontinental Railroad.
Yeah.
And it would have been Ogden.
Oh.
You would have had an Ogden type place that popped up.
So Ogden would have been.
We are so in the weeds that nobody even knows what we're talking about. No. So anyway, I kind of love the whole. Well, I have to go to work. My work's not giving me it off.
I mean, I have to work
which
too.
I think is totally fucking lame. And I'm saying that on the record.
Maybe will they at least give you some pie?
There was talk of pie and possibly beer.
Okay, well, as long as they, make it worth your while.
There might be something, I don't know. And I don't really care. So I was talking to my boss about it, and he's like, I don't believe in Pioneer Day. I don't believe in all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, neither do I, but I believe in 3-day weekends.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I believe
that's what I believe in.
I believe in extra anything to celebrate anything.
I don't believe in all the stuff behind Christmas, but I want it off.
Yeah, and I want presents.
Yeah.
And I want to eat yummy treats.
But I think it's interesting, this idea, though, that you never really connected with it, but it is there is a counter. There's sort of the non-Mormon response to Pioneer Day.
Yes, which is lovely.
Which is Pie and Beer Day.
Pie and Beer Day, can't we all get behind that?
Yeah,
I mean, absolutely. I'm just deciding what kind of pie I want. Do you have a favorite pie?
Yes, I do.
What is it?
I like the cream pies, like
Okay,
coconut cream
love
pie or
that.
banana cream pie.
I
Sign
love
me
a
up for
chocolate
either
pie.
of those.
Banana cream pie is literally delicious. I love a key lime pie.
Yes,
And
yes.
then any berry pie.
Berries
You
are
give me a
good,
berry
yeah.
pie, I will be a happy girl.
Yeah. But coconut, I might, the sometimes other guest host, Rachel, she makes a coconut cream pie that is unbelievable.
Rachel, I'm going to give her a call.
It is so wildly, stupidly. She could
Yeah?
literally enter like the state fair and like probably get the blue ribbon. Like
Okay.
it is insane.
I'm going to A, ask her to make me one, and then B, ask for the recipe, even though I'm not a very good baker.
She learned at her grandmother's
Yeah.
feet, basically. Like her grandmother taught her everything. And so she
That's
learned
so sweet.
But anyway, so pie and beer is the order of the day.
Is the holiday for us. We can celebrate that.
And
all
and
day long.
I think there's a lesson to pie and beer day and Pioneer Day, which is that, just because the religious majority has some dumb holiday
Mm-hmm.
that makes them feel special and whatever, doesn't mean we can't have fun too. And that we can't just appropriate and take
I
what
love
works
that. Let's
for
run
us,
with it.
Yes. Out of whatever dumb holidays happening.
I am on board for that
Yeah.
big time. I will 100% get on board with that.
And if you don't connect with President's Day,
yeah.
you figure something out.
Go to buy a mattress.
Or the 4th of July. I get it.
Yeah.
The 4th of
4th of July has been hard lately.
is a rough one, There's a total jingoistic
It's
part of this country
gross.
that just
and it gets,
has
they're
claimed
digging
it.
their heels in. It's the truth.
It's the worst. And so there's no reason that we have to let them own these days in the way that they
want them to be. Yes, yeah. I love that.
And so I think it's important. I think Pie and Beer Day is honestly one of the most important things that has emerged since my time in Salt Lake, because it used to be like a joke. Yeah. Oh, I'm celebrating Pie and Beer Day. And
kind of tongue in cheek.
Yeah. And now it's there's actually community events around it that are branded Pie and Beer Day. Yeah. And I'm just like, thank you.
Yeah, I love it. And I'd never really looked at it that way, but I think that's a gorgeous way to look at it. Reclaim things and find a reason to celebrate. And it doesn't have to be their reason. And I don't want to get stiffed a holiday.
No way.
I want a holiday.
I got stiffed this year. Yeah. I didn't get it off. And I'm just like, I'm so bitter.
If Rachel is listening, I don't know if Rachel listens to this show, but bring this man a pie. Bring this man a pie.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, that's our local holiday.
And I say for the rest of you, you should probably, in honor of us, celebrate and go get some pie and beer as well. And just treat yourself. You can have it go the whole week. Yeah. I give that to you. I gift that to you, dear listener.
Yeah, stretch it out. Yeah. Yeah, have fun with it. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, Kate, thank you so much for sitting in.
My pleasure.
It's always so fun to have you here.
Oh, I'm happy to get a chance to see you.
I know.
I love you.
I love you too. Dan will be back next week. He is in the hellish hellscape of Greece right now.
Very hot.
Holy crap.
Very hot.
And he'll be back. And if you'd like to send us any feedback on anything you've heard on the show, please do so. podcast@thankgodimatheist.com is our email address. 424-666-8442 is the telephone number to call and leave us a voicemail message. If you'd like to join one of our members-only lounges, I strongly encourage it. They're great online communities where you can find like-minded people. Just go to our website, thankgodimatheist.com/members-only. There's an option on Facebook. There's one on Discord, and they really, truly are great. Thanks to the Red Rock Hot Club and to Gordon Johnston for the use of their music. And thank you, dear listener, for tuning in. We sure do appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Bye-bye.
Bye.